Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing well. Today's video is one I've been wanting to film for a while, and I'm going away soon, so I told myself I couldn't leave without getting it done because I'll be gone for at least a few weeks, and I don't know when I'll get to film this afterwards if I don't do it now. So today I'm going to be showing you how I protect my designer footwear. The last pair of shoes that I bought were these STUART WEITZMAN flats, and I do have an unboxing video with more details and close-ups of these flats, so I'll link that in the cards above. But I haven't had a chance to wear them since I've bought them because I haven't protected them yet, so I thought it would be fun to do it together. So for this, we're going to need a few items. The first is a leather cleaner. The second is a leather protector. And the third is an adhesive sole cover. You'll also need a pencil and some scissors. So I typically start with a leather cleaner. Make sure to shake it really well before you use it, and then dispense some onto a dry paper towel. And just really work it into the paper towel itself. You don't need a lot for this because all I'm really going to do is kind of wipe down the shoe to get any little bits of dust or dirt that I might have on it off. And actually, if you don't have leather cleaner, you could also just use a dry microfiber cloth to do this, but I couldn't find one, so I just used the leather cleaner instead. And again, guys, I'm just showing you what I do, so it's by no means official, it's just the way that I do it. So once I've gently wiped down both sides, I will move on to spraying them with the leather protector. First, I typically line the inside of each shoe with a paper towel. I used to just spray the whole shoe, including the insole, but I find that depending on the leather of the inner sole, spraying it can make it kind of sticky, and I don't really like that. Anyway, one last wipe down. And then I take my leather protector, which is the Colonel Carbon Pro leather protector. Shake it up really well and start spraying. And you're gonna want to spray it on until the whole shoe looks wet. That's how I know that I've covered the entire shoe. And we're just gonna do the same thing on the other side. Now, as you can see, both shoes have been completely covered in the spray, and we're just gonna let them dry. So here they are dry. This was about 30 minutes later. And now that they're dry, we're just gonna give them a second coat. So usually I spray both sides once, leave them to dry for 24 hours, then spray them again and leave them to dry for another 24 hours before putting on the sole covers. However, in the interest of getting this video filmed, this time I waited until both sides were just visibly dry before spraying them a second time. But yeah, when you do it, and when I do it again for another pair, I'm going to do the same thing. Let them dry for 24 hours after each spray. And also make sure to leave them in a well-ventilated area because you don't want to be breathing in the fumes from the spray itself. So now that we've sprayed both sides twice and let them dry, we can prepare and attach the sole protectors. So the protector that I use comes packaged in a roll, and forgive me for this really awkward phrasing, but it's essentially a clear plastic stick-on cover. And basically what you do is cut out what you need and just stick it on. You'll be able to see this better in person, but this side is smooth and the other side is textured. And once you peel off the liner, the smooth side is the sticky side and the textured side is what will hit the ground instead of the bottom of your shoe. So let's just see how much of this I'll need. I like to just mark it lightly so I know where to cut. And once I've cut that bit off, I place it down with the smooth side upward and then just put the shoe on top so that I can trace around it. And this will give you the outline that you'll need to cut out. I'm not sure if you can see this that well, but here's the outline, and I'm just going to get to cutting. See, now we have a shape that is very close, not perfectly close, but very close to the bottom sole of the shoe. But notice that this shoe has a very small heel at the back, so I'm not just going to slap this on and call it a day. I'm actually going to cut off that back part of the protector and attach it to the heel separately. And once I've cut it, I just want to check that what's left of the rest will fit, and it looks like it will. But before I stick them on, let me just prepare the protector for the other side. This one actually looks way nicer, don't you think? I think I did a way better job on this side of the shoe than the right one. And again, once I've cut off the heel bit, they both look pretty good. So now let's actually stick the protectors on. I guess let's start with the left shoe, and we're gonna cover the heel first. So all you need to do is just peel off the backing of the protector and stick it right on. But try to make sure you line it up along the edge and then press the sticker into the heel. Like really make sure it's stuck on there. Don't leave any air bubbles. Once that's done, you can go ahead and cut off the excess. I use one of those tiny grooming scissors to do this because they're much easier to handle than the large ones once the protectors are actually stuck to the shoe. They're of course much smaller too, so it's less likely that you'll damage your shoe in the process. Once that's done, I want to make sure that this sucker is stuck on, so I'm just going to press the sticker in. As you can see, it's not perfect. Some of the edges are a bit janky, but I mean, that's fine for me. For now, I'll leave it because I don't want this video to be too long, but I can always clean it up later. Anyway, now that the right heel sticker is on, let's just finish off the right side of the shoe. I can see already that I kind of messed up the bottom. It's a bit short, but because the part that won't be covered is so close to the heel, I feel like it'll be raised a bit above the ground anyway. That exposed part should be able to avoid being dinged or damaged for the most part. Once you've stuck on the cover, you can trim off the excess like so. Just be very careful not to poke your shoe. And I just want to emphasize that when you do this, you have to really make sure that the cover sticks onto the sole properly. So like what I'm doing, just keep going over it, pressing it in, making sure to get rid of the air bubbles. That way it won't dry out or become unstuck prematurely. And there you go, one side done. Note that you cannot see any part of the cover from above the shoe. So when you're done, this is what it should look like on the bottom. And here's a comparison with the side that I haven't done yet, just to show you the difference. So I went ahead and just finished the other pair off camera for the sake of time, but here's what it looks like. I did do a way better job on this side, but oh well, at least now I can wear them. Before signing off, I just wanted to say that I do typically do this for my designer shoes. All of my designer shoes are protected, particularly because they can cost a small fortune, and without protecting them, they get ruined as soon as you step on outside ground, and that just does not sit right with me. I know people say you can just go buy another pair, but to be honest, I don't want to buy duplicates of things I already have. It's one thing if it's a different color, but you know, I work hard, and when I spend money on things, I like to keep those things in the best shape possible, regardless of whether they're designer or not. I've also done this for non-designer shoes, especially if the soles don't have any grip, because that prevents slipping. And sometimes I've had to buy shoes for like an event, but I'll never wear them again after, so I'll protect the bottom so I can wipe them down and resell them on Poshmark in decent condition. They're still used, yes, and I'm not going to get what I paid for them, but it's better to me than just having them sit around doing nothing in my closet. So yeah, whether you've spent a lot of money on them and want to keep them pristine for as long as possible, or you want to be able to resell them down the line, or you simply don't want to risk slipping and falling on your butt, there's definitely more than one reason to protect the soles of your shoes. And I think it's especially worthwhile when you spent a lot of money on them. Another benefit is that the covers make it really easy to wipe down your shoes. Call me crazy, but after every wear, I wipe my shoes down, the sides, the bottoms, the insides. And yes, it can be a bit of a pain, but it's honestly the only way to keep your shoes in tip-top shape for as long as possible. If you don't care about that, that's totally fine. I'm just mentioning it for the other crazy people out there just like me. But anyways, guys, that was my video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it was helpful. Let me know if this is something you do too, or if you think I'm just batshit crazy. As always, I've linked the items shown in the video in the description box below in case you're interested in checking them out. But that's all I have for you today, friends. I'll be back with some unboxings after my trip, so definitely stay tuned for that. In the meantime, though, please come join me over on Instagram. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching today's video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!